They call it.
Is it?
Yes, baby. Oh, bigger than good.
It's better to have these than nothing.
That's embarrassing. Not bad, man. What was I gonna say?
Alright, first thing I need to find out from people is, are we on the Grown Ass Men account and not Craig Jackson? Alright, let's just find out. Someone let me know if you can.
Are we live?
Yeah, we're live right now. Alright, shout out to the shaky cam.
Yeah, technical difficulties this week, guys.
Yeah. We had to make it happen. Yeah, so if I look nervous, the camera's shaking, it just means I'm a little nervous, guys, that's all. Right. Hold on, I think this is under Craig's name. No, I think we're cool. Oh, right, no fade. Right, I wasn't actually ready for that. Alright, listen, grown ass men in the building, make some noise! Yeah, right. Listen, hey, look who's in the building. It's the Rain Man. Yeah, come prepared, yeah? All right, cool. Riggs, I almost feel that you should give Nick that drink, yeah, because it's matching. Right. Listen, before we obviously get started, hold on, someone said your account, Craig. All right, hold on. Reacted in your video, in Grown Ass Men. I think I'm in Grown Ass Men. Nicole, someone let me know. Someone give me a thumbs up. Yeah. All right, cool. We're going with it. Yeah. Right. First of all, shout out to G Banks who can't be here today. Again, slight technical difficulties in his journey. Yeah. But it's all love. But we got man like Clark back in the building, guys. Look at that. Guest appearance passing through. Yeah. Yeah. If you see a 17 plate, yeah, know who that is. Right. Listen, I don't want to kind of get off track. Yeah. We got to kind of announce who else we got inside, because I've already shouted out Banks, we've already done Clark. Let's move on. No, we'll get to you last. You can do your little intro, yeah? Go true.
Hey, what time? It's the Pan-African, aka the Afri King.
Yes, it's Darren, Mr. D, the guy with the hat. Who is that guy?
Yo, what's going on? Rakes. It's good.
Now it's your time.
It's your time.
Alright, oh, you really want to go last? Alright, obviously you got myself, the Devil's Ab, yeah, man like John Cena, you can't see me, you know what it is already.
And you got Rain Man, the Bobby Brown of the group. Nick Clark is back in the building. Good to be back. People.
Right, people, excuse me, let me clear my throat. Before we obviously announce what the topic is, I'm sure everyone's seen the memes. Shout out to everyone who's kind of joined us this week in kind of just getting the group popping, us talking, going back and forth. We love all of that, yeah? Today's going to be a touchy subject. So for anyone who is very sensitive, I'm going to say it now. We don't mean to offend. It's not our intention to offend, but we're not going to shy away from expressing our views on any topic. And again, shout out to Shaky Cam, yeah, because I am a little bit nervous. I don't know what's going on. But today, yeah, we had there was a terrorist attack in London, all right? And basically, a lot of people linked that attack to religion, all right? So basically, what we're asking today is, does religion cause more harm than good? Has the media fooled us into the link between terrorism and religion? Why do so many people allow religion to dictate their lives? That's a deep, deep question, yeah? Is religion not just another form of control? Or can it be deemed a business? All right? I'm going to go to the Pan-African first on this one, yeah? I know, you look at that. Like, oh, yeah, I know. I had to pick you out, man. But my first question to you is, and I'm going to ask everyone else as well, is one, do you believe in God, firstly? Yeah?
I believe in a higher being.
Well, explain what you believe in then. Go for it.
I'm not religious, so to speak, so I don't like to give it the terminology God, because when I say God, people instantly think Christianity, and I don't want to believe that I'm a Christian, because I'm not. So I just believe in a higher being, and I believe that we were created by someone higher than ourselves, a spirit.
But you don't refer to him as God of the Bible?
No, definitely not a Bible talk.
Ooh. Mr. D, what you saying on this one?
Do you know what? I kind of share the same view, same opinion. I definitely believe in a creator. I definitely believe in a higher being. I do personally think that religion is something to control the masses. I share the same opinion, man. Share the same opinion.
Riggs?
I believe in God. Like the guys have said, I believe in a higher power. I believe there is a reason why we're all here and we all worship this, or we all look to the same God and all of that. And God is just a name that has been given to us, and really and truly, I just go along with it because that's kind of been how I've been raised. But I don't believe in the Bible. I don't believe in the many stories that have come from the Bible and been adapted and changed over the years, because at the end of the day, all it is to me are just many stories that people have, changed and given to us and changed along the years, like I say, just to help control the masses.
All right, Clark. What are you saying? What's your stand? What's your viewpoint on this?
See, this is for me. Like obviously, I've not been here for a bit, and I've been watching every week, and these are annoying me because they chat a lot of shit. But I'm sure you guys don't always shout at the screen like, "What are you talking about?" But in this instance, I do agree. I believe in God. I definitely believe in a higher being, whatever you want to call it. I think why a lot of people get into religion in the first place, and this is linked into why I'm calling it God, is because it's mainly because of our parents. We're born into a religion, and we don't necessarily have our own. So we're just following our parents. And I think as we grow older and we learn more, which is, and I'm going to assume most of us were born Christian at some level, whether that be Catholic or Pentecostal or whatever. As we grow and become adults, we kind of branch off and have our own means of thinking, and it confuses us to a point where now we don't know what to believe, which is why there is a bit of a dissociation from the Bible in our instance, because it is linked to Christianity.
Can I say something?
Yeah,
just in touching on what Ray said, I wouldn't go as far as to say I don't believe in the Bible at all. Some may call me lukewarm, but I do think there is some truth to the Bible. Obviously, I can't say what is exactly truth and what isn't. But I don't think it's a coincidence. There are stories in the Bible where you will find same stories in the Quran, same stories in all different religions. So I don't think all different religions are just going to make up the same kind of story. Do you know what I mean? So I do think there is some truth in the Bible along the way. But for me, I just can't trust the fact that it's a book that has been altered and doctrined by man along the way. It's like Chinese whispers.
So it's no longer pure. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's not coming from it's not the original. We're not getting it from the original source. Yeah, so this book has been doctored along the way. How reliable is that? How the truth that they're trying to tell? Are we really and truly getting the truth?
Interesting. I'm going to tell you just kind of a little bit about myself in terms of what I believe as well. It's very much alike, but it's not in many ways. I believe in God. I think religion, in the way in which I've experienced, is mainly positive. I believe that people often look to religion for comfort, for guidance, and to give their life meaning. And sometimes it gives people the comfort of kind of being under an umbrella, representing something. In terms of obviously the Bible, I'm very much with Darren in terms of somebody has got this book and told me that this is what it is. So if somebody had a book beforehand and told me this is what it is, how can I justify it? And in terms of my beliefs, I was part of a church. I met some amazing people in church, and I went through some rough times, and those people lifted me up. I looked for guidance. I was all the things I just mentioned. And that is why I think it can be a positive. But on the same side, I've seen some negatives there. I don't believe, for example, and again, I'm up for being challenged on this, people paying 10% of their wages tithes, because that's what it says in the book. I just think that some people benefit from something that could be so good when it shouldn't be that way.
Another negative, and one of the questions that was first posed, was the whole terrorism thing.
Yeah.
That is a negative of religion, because we've got people out there who are using the downfall of a specific religion to benefit their particular agenda.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's what happens a lot across the board in terms of politics, in terms of world order.
All right, I need to jump on this. So, this is one of the times I'll be shouting at the TV. Religion and whatever book we use, the Quran, the Quran, the Bible, whatever, there's nothing negative in there. There's no negative teachings in there. So we can't say religion is negative. People may be negative and people may use it to manipulate certain circumstances or to gain, whether that be financial stuff or whatever, but the books itself isn't negative.
Yeah, but this is not an attack on the book.
Nobody said that though. I don't think.
You're saying that, but when you say that, yeah, so what about when the Bible supports slavery? Is that not a negative? How do you make that a positive?
It's just, I don't know if it
There are several
supports slavery, but
segments to it.
it speaks of bits at the time. But
Do you know what? Sorry to cut you. I had the same exact argument with my missus literally about a week ago. I swear to God. And I was kind of like saying to Nick, like,
It supports.
I was kind of supporting what Nick was saying. Like, the Bible is it's a good thing if you use it in the right way. But then she was saying what you were saying, that it supports slavery. She got it up because I don't know the Bible in and out. She got the scriptures up and showed me, and I was like, wow.
There's several of them.
It says
slavery.
You're as a slave master, you should have as a slave you should obey your physical slave master.
But wouldn't it be fair to say, but the Bible's not necessarily a guideline or a tick for justification. It's a story. It's telling stories of what occurred.
And
so because something's in there, does that necessarily say that the Bible is saying that it's right?
And we've already said that it's been doctored over time to suit certain circumstances. So that could be one of the things. I'm not asking about the Bible, but that is so. Just on my second point, just on the Muslim thing or the terrorism thing, only 6% of the terrorist attacks in the last 30 years have been by Muslims. There've been more terrorist attacks by Jewish people than by Muslim people. But there's a media agenda.
And this is the point we were saying, is about the control element.
There's an agenda to, I guess, marginalise Muslims so that we can invade the Muslim countries, take their oil, because they're the only ones that we haven't, well, I say we haven't, that the Western world hasn't exploited or
managed to control.
Yeah. So there's this agenda to, I guess, isolate them so that we can.
But it's an agenda that's working, unfortunately, because so many people fall for it, and everything happens, and it could be anything. And the first thing they link it to is terrorism.
And what is it? The Muslim faith and religion is something that a lot of the world fear. So it doesn't suit the governments and the system
for them not to be feared.
Yeah, it makes sense for them to target Muslims and when something happens, it's not even say that terrorist stuff with Muslims doesn't happen, but when it does, they can blow it out of proportion and know that
6% of the time there's more Jewish.
All it shows is that the concentration that goes on that when something like that happens is far greater than when anything else happening, or they see no reason to publicize it.
But what we're saying, Mick, is that, like, all right, that's an interesting stat, because if you was to compare, say, for instance, inches of columns of the column newspapers, that Muslims get reported on, in comparison to that figure, it's disproportionate.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean?
Probably 600 times.
So there is an agenda in terms of,
I agree,
attacking a particular religion in order to, I don't know, put out propaganda and support their agenda.
All right, let me take it to the stream, guys. Thank you everyone for who's tuned in and kind of left messages. Right, right. Alex has said, "What up, Marlon?" Yeah, so big up, Alex. Yeah. Right. Nicole has said, "I believe in the universe only, so I am spiritual but not religious. I don't believe in God." And she's put God in capital letters, meaning gold, oil, and diamonds. "I don't believe in the Bible neither." That's interesting. And she said, "Gold, oil, and diamonds stolen from our black people."
I've never heard of that acronym before.
That's me neither.
Very interesting.
Yeah, that's something we need to kind of explore. Right. Mulcha, I hope I've said your name right. Apologies if I haven't. She said, "There are good and bad people in all walks of life." 100% agree. I don't think anyone's going to dispute that. Melissa has said, "If people actually read and live by the Bible, They wouldn't kill as it's a clear commandment that you should not murder.
Agreed.
That is also correct. And I think one of the points we gave is that some of the the morals and some of the rules as such of Christianity, I think a lot of people apply to their lives without even knowing. But you know, the problem that I have with from a Christianity point of view is, you know, the whole, you know, if you're not a born again Christian and all this, then you're not going to see the gates, or you're not going to heaven and all that business.
Christianity is that, like, the black community buying into it. I struggle to accept something like Christianity when slave masters who introduced that religion to us, before the slave masters brought us from the African islands, we didn't know nothing of Christianity. They have given us that and we have sucked it up. I don't understand that. And then people talk about blindly following. Like, you then know this and give me all the excuses in the world as to why you would then follow. I had a guy tell me only last week that he's thankful for slavery. How the hell can a black man look at me and tell me he's thankful for slavery? That's insane.
But what was that's out of context?
Yes, he's thankful for slavery because it gave him Christianity.
Wow.
I can't. I don't know where he's coming from with that, and I don't see what angle you could possibly be coming from. But when it's difficult, it's difficult. Do you know?
I don't agree with it, but I get where I get the comment.
Yeah, well, I suppose that's what I mean. I just can't agree with that in any way, shape, or form. But it's difficult because you got to think, like, this word faith is drummed into people when it comes to religion. Faith. And what faith is having a belief when you don't necessarily have all of the answers, all of the evidence in front of you. Do you know what I mean? That is faith. Like, you have to be committed to the cause. You have to be committed to your beliefs. So when you've got somebody like yourself who's coming and saying, well, hold on a minute, all of this that you've been given was given to you by a certain type of people in order to overthrow our people. You know what I mean? But their argument is, well, I understand what you're saying, but there is a God, I believe, and that's my faith. Do you know what I mean? It's hard to come out of that teaching, because this is something that a lot of people who have this firm belief have had it from when they were knee high. So it's hard, it's difficult.
In that instance, it sounds like the guy loves his God so much that it doesn't matter what's happened, how he got to it, whatever circumstances that happened, he just loves his. It's almost like, I don't know, you're not anyone's here, but your wife was conceived because her mum was raped. Yeah, the fact that you love your wife so much, it doesn't matter whatever circumstances. That's unfortunate.
That's extreme, but it's a good point.
Yeah. So is slavery. Like, it doesn't matter what circumstances caused your wife to be there. You now you've got your wife. You love her to bits, and that's your wife.
That's a brilliant example, but I just can't. I just can't fathom that.
He's happy
Is that
got that
many-
but can you not fathom it because of your emotion connected
he's
to
not
slavery?
actually religious. This is the bit I don't get. It's not like he goes to church on a Sunday. He's not.
But does that make you religious? And again, that's another point that we're
Yeah,
gonna
that's
have to get onto. But let me just. And again, everyone who is making the sad face emojis and the really kind of upset and angry ones that about what we're talking about, join in the conversation, man. I'm honestly, we may come across as ignorant because sometimes it might just be that we don't have the knowledge of everything. And again, we're welcome to people educating and giving their point of view as well. Let me just read out a couple of comments. Right, Erison has said, shout out to Erison as well, because just a quick briefing. When I've kind of had question marks about religion and faith, he's one of the people that I've turned to try and look and search for answers. Yeah, he said, what would happen if everyone lived the last 6 commandments? Well, my first thing would be is I don't think everyone in the stream knows what the last 6 are, because I certainly don't off the top of my head. So if someone can put them there, and we can obviously kind of get to that. Shout out to Williams J. Silver. He said, growing in the church most of my child life, I understand that part. But now I know it's a straight God thing, and it's obvious there is a creator, and all of us should go to the source and bypass religion. Straight to God, no middlemen.
I think just on that, I think there's a difference between faith and religion. And I think people often
Lock them together.
Yeah, intertwine the two and kind of use them as one, because the words are used interchangeably, but it's a big difference. And I think just because someone has faith in a God, it doesn't mean they believe or they have faith in that religion. And I think sometimes the religious organisations can use that as a tool to manipulate.
It's one of the strongest weapons. It's one of the strongest weapons in order to ensure people remain in that religion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think as well, and again, a lot of what we're talking about kind of relates to Christianity, we're probably talking about that because it's what's most familiar to us as a group. Yeah, but I think some of my issues, and I will get to reading out a few more comments in the stream as well. Some of my issues are not necessarily with religion itself. It's more to do with the church, and the way in which people have capitalized off the business side of things, and that kind of made me disillusioned with it all, because being a member of a church, and shout out to, again, it's the only church I really know, shout out to Tabernacle and all the people that I know associated
church used to make like half a mil.
It wasn't because of what I've seen necessarily in there, but there were some traits that I questioned and I never got answers for. Some things didn't sit right with me, but the people in there themselves, amazing people who live with good morals and lead good lives, whether you're Christian or not. And I just don't get how anyone can turn around and say, well, if you don't commit to X, Y, and Z, regardless of how you've lived your life with morals, you're not going to the destined place.
And that's another thing that baffles me. This whole heaven and hell stuff, it doesn't even begin to make sense. You got heaven for the good people, hell for the bad people. Hell is run by the devil, who is said to make the bad people do what they want. If you then end up in hell, why is he going to punish you for doing his work? He wouldn't. It should be like another heaven.
You go, no. You know what?
What I'm saying.
Listen, as much as it sounds a little bit crazy and out there, there's a bit of content in terms of what he said. There's some content there that needs answering. You know what I'm saying? And I say this is not an attack on churches and religions and Muslims and all the rest of it.
Nobody's been to heaven or nobody's been to hell. Yeah, so
and this is the point.
We can't know. And anyone that says otherwise, we just don't know.
Yeah. So that's the problem.
Do you know what? It's funny because I often, just to give you a bit of background from myself, my family are very religious. Christianity, and I've got some people in my family who are Jehovah's Witness, like stout, stern, into the whole Jehovah's Witness religion. Literally. Go full service, definitely. And so I've been to Kingdom Hall, which is Jehovah's Witness. I've been there. I've been to Christian churches. So I have a bit of knowledge about both sides of things, and I often, because I find like I'm very spiritual. I have a connection with whoever the higher being is. Like I say my prayers on a daily basis. I always try to give thanks and try to show appreciation. Blah blah blah. Yeah, and I always think to myself, raw, like I wonder, like we say, like I wonder if there is a heaven and a hell. But the fact is, nobody has been there. So it's easy for people to attack religion because there aren't specific answers in place that can be given to say, well, actually, this is what heaven is and this is what hell is. Do you know what I mean? It's easy for you to say, well, that's foolishness. How can you show me heaven and hell? Show me. Do you know what I mean? But like Nick said, nobody's been there, bro. Nobody's been there. And that's what faith is all about.
I get that, Darren, but the whole heaven and hell thing, breaking it down, and as to what they actually say about heaven and hell, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense to you.
Bro, I've just explained it to you. Why would it be a bad place?
All right, listen, let me take you to the stream very, very quickly. So go on, Nick.
Just on that point. It is because of ignorance, not your ignorance per se, but we just don't know. In terms of, you trying to explain something to your son about astronomics, say, he won't get it because his mind just isn't there yet. So you're not a religious man. You have no faith. You're not assigned to anyone. Yeah, you believe in God, yes. But if your head's not there, you're not going to understand these things because you're just not at that stage.
And you don't want to understand
in your development. Yeah.
But at the same time, and just on the back of that, before I go to the stream as well, all right, you've got a book that has been written. It's in black and white. Yeah, fair enough. It's been changed and everything. But in terms of the teachings, isn't it down to perception? How you kind of receive? Like I can read the same thing as you.
Interpretation.
You know what? Interpretation is the word I was actually looking for. Yeah, interpretation, because I can read the same thing as you. You can make your point, and it would make sense. I can make my point about the same text and it would make sense. So who's right and who's wrong? Do you understand what I mean?
That's the thing. It's everybody's journey. It's everybody's journey. How you get to that place, how you get to your, I don't know, your relationship with God is your journey. Do you know what I mean? And I think this is where I have a problem with religion, because it's controlled by man. Because nobody should be able to say, well, actually, you're wrong about this. This is how. Do you know what I mean? It shouldn't be like that. It should just be everybody's journey, and come the end, be what it may.
All right, listen, let me take it to the stream quickly. Yeah? Timothy has said, it has to be taken into context. Back in the day, when kingdoms had war, instead of killing their prisoners, they would keep them as slaves, meaning they were well looked after in the kingdom, nothing like the European slavery trade. Yeah. All right, that's just going back and probably a little bit towards the weight on that one. Sorry?
Timothy sounds religious.
Well, I don't know, yeah. Yeah, no, Timothy is. Right. Let me just go back to what Erison said earlier. He said about the 6 commandments. Someone has kindly put that in here, so I'm going to read those out. Yeah, shout out to Melissa. Thank you, Melissa. I appreciate that. Right. Oh, she's put all 10. Ah, damn, I'm going to have to read. I'm going to have to read all 10 now.
Get your reading, bro.
Right, shall I just try and skip 4? Right. Yeah. Right, I'm going to read all the 10, actually. I'm going to read them. Right. You shall have no other gods but me. You shall not make for yourself any idol, nor bow down to it or worship it. You shall not misuse the name of the Lord your God. You shall remember and keep the Sabbath day holy. Right, hold on. So I've just done 4, yeah? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So now the final 6, I believe.
So just in the first one, there's already contradictions because.
Sorry, just let him read.
No, I'll say that because you're going to forget the other 4.
Yeah. All right. So here's the 6 that obviously Erison was actually going at. Yeah. Hold on. Stay with me, guys. Okay. Right. You must not commit murder. You must not commit adultery. You must not steal. You must not give false evidence against your neighbor. I lie. You must not be envious of your neighbor's goods. You shall not be envious of his house, nor his wife, nor anything that belongs to your neighbor. Those 6 morals from what I've read, 6 commandments, excuse me, are commandments that a lot of people live by without even knowing. So in answer to his question, I think, yes, the world would definitely be a better place if people abided to that. But as you know, I say we're all born sinners, isn't it? We all do wrong things. Let me just read out a couple more.
Sorry, Craig.
Sorry, go on. Sorry,
so Nick, what Nick's going to say about contradictions.
Sorry, carry on.
At the first, I think it was number 2 or 3. You should not idolize any other god than me. You should not have, false idols.
Let me just go back. Yeah, he says, you shall have no other gods but me. Mm-hmm. You shall not make for yourself any idol, nor bow down to it or worship it.
Right. So, when Catholics bow down to the cross of Jesus, that isn't God, right? I know it's God's son, but true, that isn't God's son, and that is something that's made as an idol.
And obviously, yeah, this came in the Old Testament as well before. Yeah. Yeah,
prior to
Jesus, yeah.
So that in itself is a contradiction to a religion already. So that's
But can you say it's a contradiction? Because remember, at the time of that being written, Jesus did not exist. And I think obviously when the New Testament, the rules almost change as such.
But Catholics follow the same Bible that's written in.
Right. But yeah, and again, this is what I'm saying. These are questions that, listen, I'm not kind of coming to you guys in the stream and saying, yeah, you guys must give answers. We're here to debate things. We got questions. If you can't answer or create any argument, please point us into the right direction of people that we can go to and get education. Right, Mulcher has said, exactly, just because you don't understand it doesn't mean it's not so. And I think that was in relation to what Nick was saying in terms of the mind being developed enough to understand. Because you don't have an understanding, it doesn't mean that it's not that way.
But I think that's used very frequently in religion when they don't have the answers. Like I said, why have you taken someone that's been given to you slavery and has accepted it? They won't have an answer for me, and this is what I struggle with that. That is a main problem for me. It was given to us by slave masters. That's a very big issue for me. They wouldn't allow you to read nothing, but gave you a Bible to read. Come on.
Rakes, tell us a little bit about your viewpoint and in terms of your I don't know, obviously you're born a Christian, your journey to get you to where you are?
Kind of like Darren, you know, my family's very religious. I also used to go to church myself. Right now, my son goes to church. His mum is a heavy church goer. I encourage him to. I don't knock church or the Bible in any way to him. He knows it's not something I do myself, but my thing is, although it's something that I don't necessarily believe in myself, I don't think it does him any harm. As long as he is strong-minded himself and doesn't grow up to feel like he has to live by the Bible, then I'm fine with him, I guess, having God in his life. I personally don't like people that I don't say don't like people, but I don't think the Bible is for, and the religion is for weak-minded people.
Agreed.
I think people that don't really have any understanding of themselves and and morally about what they're about, allow the Bible to dictate their lives and kind of control everything that they do. And that's something that I'm definitely not like, and it's something that I don't want my son to be part of. And it's kind of why, although I used to go to church, it's kind of the reason why I feel a hypocrite when I go now.
Can I just ask you more on that? Like, what do you mean? Because everybody who is into the Bible, kind of, if they live their life by the Bible, then they're allowing they're making that conscious decision to say, I'm going to live my life by the Bible. So subsequently, they are allowing the Bible to dictate their life. So what kind of, give me an example in terms of what you're saying, what you don't like, because I don't see.
I really can't explain how.
I think that to kind of jump in. The one thing that kind of stuck out to me then is that, you know, and again, this is something that I guess we have to talk about as well in terms of our children. You said that you didn't mind, and this is not an attack at you, bro.
Yeah.
You didn't mind your son going to church as long as he knows that he doesn't have to follow the book of the Bible. But that's exactly what he's being taught. So already you're creating a conflict for your son, because obviously you don't believe in one thing, he's being taught one way, but he's going to see you live your life in a different way, and you're going to teach him the way in which you live. So
That's an education, isn't it? It's something you can learn from that, and then gets older. Like for me, I was brought up in a church, not so heavy as his son has been, but from that I've thought to myself, this isn't for me. He will be in a better position than I was when I got to the stage where I decided it's not for me, because he has a fuller understanding of the religion itself.
Can I just
it's a good point, by the way. Yeah.
What jumped out from what you said, Marlon, was about the weak-minded people, and I think you said that it isn't for weak-minded people. I think people who join a religion, so who are born into it, so whether,
So you haven't been born to it, but then you kind of.
but you later join it.
Yeah.
They are generally people who are vulnerable. So when a lot of my friends go to prison, they come out Muslim. Yeah, a lot of girls who have gone through treacherous times growing up, they turn to Christianity.
I think you find it in all walks of life still.
And I think it's more of a thing of, it is for weak-minded people, or people that are down on their luck, and they try
And they look for strength.
they think, why not? Yeah, because they have to attribute something to someone. Just like some people turn to drugs, some people turn to anything. That is their get out, and I don't think that can be seen as a negative.
Right, and I was about to say that, and that's where I think religion comes in, and it helps people. There are many people where they need that in their life to steady them up. Like you've heard many bad boys turn to religion and straighten their lives out, and I think that's obviously a positive. But at the same time, religion has caused wars all over the place. Just what I mean. So
Has it really? Just like we was talking about earlier on about the propaganda, like
It's not necessarily
it's
just
not necessarily
so.
the religion. It's just the way it's used in order to manipulate a situation. So we think that they're fighting about wars. They're not fighting about. Sorry, we think they're fighting about
Religion.
which
More times it's about money.
It's about money. It's about gold. It's about gold. It's about all these things.
In the new age, yes, you know, but before
when they ambushed Africa for gold, and land.
All right, let me go to the stream because you just vetoed my comment. Right, right. That's all good. Get you back. Right, Nicole has said, church, population control, brainwashing, and a business. Heaven and hell are a mind-controlling game. It's not real. Slave masters used to demonize our black people's spirituality and our real history.
Agreed.
That's
To the last point. I don't want to say it's a game or nothing, but
I
got to take some time to digest. I can't agree with that.
That's strong, and there is some truth in that. There is some truth in that.
I think.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I think particularly what they used to do is, and this is why they encourage marriages and stuff as well. So I'm going to sound like I'm talking from ignorance, but trust me, I've done philosophy. But yeah.
Did you pass though?
I've got a B. But A-level. Anyway, what they used to do is that they used to, and which is why they encourage marriage, because it's easier to control groups of people than it is to control lots of individuals.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you can get the head of a household who's a religious person, his whole family is then under control because he's almost like their line manager. So they're all doing what he says or she says, and it's easy to control those people. And he's great.
And what she said about demonizing our spirituality, that is very correct, because you look at now how we view African black magic. It's witchy, doctory stuff, and it's how it's viewed, and that is because of the way it's been portrayed to us.
When in past days it was a positive.
Yeah.
It was a positive.
Whilst I think that there is some truth to what Nicole's saying, shout out to Nicole as well. I appreciate you kind of just keeping it real and raw. I think some of the points seem a little bit far-fetched, seemed a bit, I don't know, I want to say narrow-minded, and I don't mean that disrespectfully, because they all relate to black. Do you understand what I mean? And yes, yes, we are black. I'm not mistaking that for 1 second. But there are people of all realms. So what about the white people in that, in terms of what she's saying?
It's still a business. She's looking at it from just our point of view.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like one of her points was, it's a business. Now you won't find. Obviously, I don't know many of them, but I know a few pastors. You know, they don't struggle in life. They're living comfortable because they make so much money inside that church. And what kills me is the same story is told as to why you need to put into a church basket. The roof needs repairing. Maintenance of the building. I can't understand how you can use the same lines year after year after year.
That's bollocks. Like, you haven't stepped foot in the church how long? Like
Yeah, I think things have possibly moved on. That seems a bit TV, that one.
Last year.
And they told you to put in money for the roof. You're lying.
And I think even if pastors do have money, I'm not saying that there aren't some crap ones out there. Like pastors, you got to remember, pastors are available 24 hours a day. They're literally working 24 hours a day. Someone can phone up their phone from the congregation at any time. They're constantly working.
I'm not knocking it.
They deserve some kind of.
I'm not knocking what they're doing, but I'm saying it is a business.
Yeah.
There are churches that make millions of pounds a year.
But I don't think that's why most churches exist. Isn't to make money. It's to serve the people.
I don't know.
I'm going to go out on a limb and agree with Nick on that.
I don't know, Nick. Like, I think
sometimes it's a byproduct of finance comes because
I think
of that.
people like you look at Mace and turn from rap to religion. Like,
Yeah, but that's an individual.
Yeah,
that's just down to an individual who's taking advantage. You can't bring in Mace. Come on, man.
And that's one of the comments said that there are bad and good in all walks of life.
100%.
You have to apply that to the church also as well. There are some pastors out there who truly believe in the work that they're applying, and some pastors who are corrupt as you know what I mean, it's corrupt.
I don't know that. I think even the straight ones are still comfy, is my point, because it's a good business.
I think those are the most evil people you can come across. People that are exploiting the masses for financial gain by using God. That you're a seriously evil person to do that.
All right, let me take it to the stream real quick, yeah?
Yeah, go on then.
Right, Bianca said, I think if religion didn't exist, those in power would find another way to control the masses. I don't think religion is the problem, it's just how people have chosen to use it. That's interesting, and you know what, I agree with that, actually. It is, it's about, people have manipulated it for personal gain. There's no doubt about that. Shout out to Curtis. Excuse me. Oh gosh, the camera jumps. Right, he said, just tuned in. Most, if not all, things wrong with the world is due to mankind. Yeah?
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, agree with that as well. Kimberly has said, if it's not religion, it's race. Working class, upper class, they will separate, control people in any way they can find. Yeah?
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for me, comment of the day so far.
Yeah. Morcher has just said, thank you, Nick. Yeah. He doesn't get that often, so I'm going to like that comment.
Thank you.
Right, hold on. Someone's put their great comment, Bianca. I think I read that one already. Right, so in regards to obviously religion, it's going to be one of them things that are always going to kind of split opinions.
Yeah.
I got what I expected today. I didn't expect to get any sort of conclusive answers, but I did expect to hear people's opinions and very, I don't know, how can I say, very, I don't want to say wrong and strong, but, you know, very like, cool, stern. This is what I think, and nothing what's said is going to change or you know, flex that opinion in any way, shape or form. The one thing that someone did say in the stream, and I can't remember who said it, I would have liked to read your name out, was like something in regards to just, let me just see if I can find it very quickly. Just like, God, yeah, this is it. God lives in you. If you believe, you will know. Like, that, it just, that them things there wind me up, you know.
Why does he
like,
wind up?
because it's like, oh, if you believe, you will know. Like, what kind of crap is that? Just believe in just what someone's just telling me. Just believe. Just have faith. No, I've been taught and I've been brought up. If you don't understand something, ask questions.
Yeah, but sometimes
You understand what I mean?
it's just something. It's just something. Innit? You can't. It's hard to explain. I get that comment.
It's like when they take the spirit and do all that stuff, yeah?
I totally get it.
know.
I totally get it.
No, listen, no, I can't have anyone mocking like,
But
you
listen-
know, someone's religion. Can't
but
do that, guys.
Listen, it's the same like if you hear,
much.
all right, if you listen to self-development and motivational speakers, they say a lot of stuff, but one of the core things that they will say is that you have to have a belief in yourself to be great. And it's something similar. Believe in God and you will know that God exists. Now, I'm not saying...
But I can believe in anything. If that's the thing, you've just told me I can create anything in my mind and I should just believe it.
Yeah, but
That's what
obviously-
you've just
but
said.
obviously, Craig, it's not...
When you said believing in yourself,
Hold on,
that's
hold on.
one thing, because that's about my personal ability to be able to do something.
Yeah.
But what you just
But
said is
obviously-
like,
but
just
obviously-
believe.
Yeah, but obviously it's not just about just one day believe in God. Oh yeah, but like you've got to go through a certain process, certain steps, certain journeys in order to get there. Do you know what I mean? But having that belief is paramount to anything. If you don't have that belief, you're not gonna get to that point. And that's what I take from what that person said.
Yeah, the person said that for me, like knowing, yeah. So it's like, okay, if you believe in God, then He will provide for you. Basically, that's how I'm taking it. For those that are sick, yeah, and that are dying, yeah, or sickness, that God is providing them with, they didn't thank the same God when they get rid of it. I guess that's just struggle. I'm sorry, it doesn't make any logical sense to me.
Listen,
But listen, God is not about logics, for one.
you're not gonna.
Sorry about the shaky cam.
I'm like I said, I'm not religious, but I don't like when people say stupid things. I'm not saying you say stupid things, but I often hear people say stuff like that. What about all these children that are dying in the world and what's God doing in like? There is such a thing as mankind in it. Mankind created most of the diseases in this world today.
Agreed.
Yeah. So let's not blame everything bad in the world on God, because we have a thing apparently called free will, isn't it? And if you're going to give somebody, if you're talking about logics now, I'm talking about how you talked before. If you're going to give somebody free will, you can't then say, oh no, you can't do that. I'm gonna stop you from doing that. Do you know what I mean? You've got free will, isn't it? So if you're creating diseases and people are dying, that's the consequences.
All right, listen, it's an interesting point, man. It's an interesting perspective. I need to read out a couple more comments and then we do need to wrap up. All right, Curtis has said, running a place of worship is a business, but the context has a deeper agenda. Yeah, so I don't think anyone could argue against the fact that it's a business, but of purpose. Do you understand what I mean? Effectively,
It's just everyone doesn't run it for that sole purpose.
Yeah.
Being a business.
and he's also said as well, and I think this is a good comment, improving a community, yeah, which, you know, in the majority, I would say that churches do, takes investment. And that could be financial, that could be time. It's 100% true. Erison has just said, from my own research, these changes have been about the purpose of Christ and he can and what he can do for the individual. I'm willing to be proven wrong and still looking. However, events, places of interest, kingdoms, etc., have been proven to be true, exactly how the Bible said it. And that's one of the things that, like I said to you before, that Erison has provided me with a few bits and pieces to justify things.
Which I do believe that there is some truth to the Bible, and that's why I can't veto the Bible and say totally it's bullshit.
Just on Erison, while there may be some things that support the Bible, there's lots of things that don't, and the fact that there's contradictions in the Bible itself. There's
chapters missing.
4 miles of books missing. 4 miles worth of books that were written that were not put into the Bible.
Yeah.
Like, so there's a lost scrolls. Yeah, so there's
4 miles.
4 miles worth of books.
Yeah, 4 miles.
That's like Lewisham to Forest Hill.
No. It's further.
That's about 4 miles.
No, man.
Lewisham to Forest Hill.
Yeah, further.
And someone look it up on Google Maps. I'm sure I'm right on that
Yeah.
one.
There's a lot of books that aren't in the Bible. So while yes, there are things that support, and I won't go into the Horus and the story of Christ and all that stuff, but there's a lot of things that aren't in the Bible, or a lot of things in the Bible that are similar to stories from 5,000 years before. So
The Egyptians.
I'm not gonna.
All right, so while you're on that, I'm going to start taking your final viewpoint. So I'm going to ask you to kind of continue and to wrap up.
And in terms of final thoughts, I'll start with we started initially with the terrorism thing. I don't think people should be buying into the whole fear factor thing. You're more likely to die of alcoholism or a domestic violence than you are of a terrorist attack. So don't buy into the whole terrorist thing. Don't believe propaganda. Muslims are the least likely people to attack you. So don't turn on your Muslim friends or colleagues or whatever. In terms of religion, I think there's a place in everyone's life. I understand it. I understand the feeling that people talk about. I've been to religious places, and I'd love to go to somewhere like Mecca one day. And even when I've been to some churches, you can feel the Holy Spirit in you sometimes. I can't. I can't explain it like what the person said, but you can feel something within you, and that isn't an accident. That isn't something that's explainable, but it isn't an accident. So you can't dismiss things like that. However, I do take issue with the Bible at times because I feel that there is methods in it to manipulate and control people and take advantage.
All right, Dave.
For me, obviously I'm not religious, but if you think that religion is for your life and it suits your life and it gives you purpose, then by all means don't feel put off by anybody else. Be strong and confident in what you're doing. But I would strongly recommend questioning things. Don't just follow up something and run with it. You have to ask questions. Yeah. With regards to the terrorist stuff, I have to agree with Nicholas. You can't buy into any of that. You have to look at things as they are and look past what the media is giving you. I think that was it, innit? Yeah.
Go on, D.
Yeah, with the terrorism thing, it's going to echo what was said. But what I would say is we're living in a world of the internet now, man. Everything is there at your fingertips. Just wake up, people. Don't be silly. Like Dee said, research. Look into what the Western world has done in order for this terrorism to arise. Do you know what I mean? Look at the numbers like Nick's provided in terms of how the Muslims are actually committing these crimes. And like I said, look at the atrocities that have taken place at the hands of the Western world. In regards to religion, like I said before, I'm coming from a background of religion, so I'm never gonna say, oh, it's rubbish and it's just. I'm not gonna be as strong as Dee. I do think there is something in it. Like I said, there is a higher being, a creator. I do believe in spirituality. That's my thing. If you are going to be in religion, make sure it's for you and for the right purposes, not just because you're following, because that's the worst thing you can do. But yeah, live your life, go through your own journey, and at the end of the day, just make sure you live your life to the best of your ability and be clean.
Rakes.
Yeah, with religion, you know, I don't have that much care for it, to tell the truth. You know, I'm I believe in God. I reference God a lot. I talk about, I believe that everything happens for a reason, and God is the reason for all of that. I don't believe in, many of the religions that are out there. Not to say I knock you for doing it. It's just not my thing. The way I've been brought up and certain journeys that I've gone through, it's very unlikely that it's something that I'm ever going to revisit in my life. I'm kind of like something that Craig was saying before about, certain people being very stern and stuck in their ways. I believe that the journey I've gone on has now has me stuck in that certain way, and I'm very unlikely to be changed or kind of veer off from that thought process. But yeah, in saying that, my nan is one of the most important people to me in my life. In terms of women, she's second after my mum, and she kind of does follow blindly. Like the Bible and Christianity and God is her everything. She is her be all and end all, and I love to see her passion and love her. I don't agree with everything she says, and now and again we will argue certain things, but it's good for her. She believes in it and she loves it, and I can't knock it. It's just not for me. In terms of terrorism and all of that, don't believe what the media shows you and encourages you to believe in. A lot of it is bullshit. A lot of it is really based on financial gain and really has nothing to do with religion. Yeah, that's me.
Woo! Alright, cool. Alright, listen.
Right, so why don't you say all of that?
Give me a gap and I'll talk.
Man just saved it.
Right, you really do hold on to things, innit? Inside. Wow.
People talking. So.
Alright, cool. Listen, I'm gonna try and be quick now. Now, basically, in terms of religion, I don't think that it's a negative. I think that they're just bastards in all types of life, and unfortunately, there's some bastards in religion who take it, manipulate it, and look for personal gain. But I think some of my main issues have been with some of the churches that I've heard of and seen in terms of taking advantage. But at the same time, double-edged sword, because I've met some amazing people in those same churches. The morals that people live by and get from religion, I think is definitely a positive. I'm very much like Nick. I believe in God. I've had that feeling and that presence of knowing that there is someone there. But I'm not totally sold by the whole book and the way it's been delivered to me, and I maybe just need to educate myself a little bit more to kind of know exactly where I stand. The whole terrorism thing, I can't really go too much more on that. You guys have said it all. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. We appreciate you. Shout out to everyone as well who watched us on YouTube. Just a little tip, yeah, you got shaky cam today. If you do want to watch us in crispy HD, yeah, go onto YouTube and just keep your Facebook open if you want to kind of get in terms of the comments, yeah. If you haven't got two devices, then you need to have a word with yourself, yeah. But listen, that's neither here or there. Let's not kind of get into that right now, yeah.
Wow.
Thank you again, yeah. Keep supporting us, guys. Keep sharing. We need the shares. We need to get this out there. I love speaking on topics like this because it's uncomfortable for me at times, and I hope it's uncomfortable for you, but it makes you think. Anyone else got any last words?
No, we're back in 5. We're talking about
relationships.
Relationships. Why do relationships fail? Yeah?
Gonna be a good one, guys.
Yeah, hopefully you guys can join in again. Thanks again, guys. We are out.